So, Jill, through or Helen, through the process, did you find that there were conservational sort of risks and issues through the digitization process? Any that weren't able to be digitized or processed? What did you? How did you sort of overcome that? Or
Well, actually, quite an interesting one that came up for us was we got our Jerusalem archived shipped to the UK for digitization from Jerusalem, and I'd kind of accounted for things like mold in the tapes. That's a very common issue, and that's what I was expecting. Right, a lot of these collections had been stored in garages, that kind of no temperature or humidity control. So that's what I was accounting for in terms of risk mitigation. But I came up against Jerusalem, which the tapes were full of sand, which is not something I'd anticipated at all. Luckily, we could digitize them. It just slowed down the workflow massively because we had to clean both the tape and the tape recorders after every tape that's digitized, because obviously sand is really destructive to magnetic tapes. So I think there's always a certain amount that you're expecting in terms of degradation, but then there's always curveballs in archive, I think is what that taught me.
Luckily for me, I don't think there'll be much sand coming from Scottish archives, but it's good to hear that story, though.
You never
Never
know.
know, you never know.
We didn't have anything quite that extreme. But in our former US archive, we did have a TV unit and various different players. So, I mean, we had, probably like you, Helen, every different format under the sun. They were all degrading. They were at least 30 or 40 years old, both the tapes and the playing devices. And one just gave up one day with a tape stuck inside. And short of finding a screwdriver and taking it apart, the only thing I could think to do was just to snip the tape, because it was kind of caught, and then very carefully unwind and roll it back onto the cassette, and then send it over to the digitizers with a big post-it warning on the top. I've had to cut this tape. Please take this into account when you scan it for us.